You hear a lot these days about loot boxes being gambling for kids. And while loot boxes are a terrible game mechanic and they suck, that version of gambling for kids has nothing on the version of gambling for kids that I grew up with. Feast your eyes upon the ultimate gaming rig. Sega Genesis, Neo Geo, TurboGrafx 16, Super Famicom, a stereo, a big screen TV, a hi-fi VCR! Every 90s kid's wildest dreams were only $5 and a crossword-like puzzle away. But come on, it definitely wasn't that simple. And therefore I present to you the story of the ultimate gaming rig. This video is sponsored by Honey. You ever buy something only to find out that you could have gotten it for less? It's frustrating, and when it happens once, it feels like you could be overpaying every time you shop. Luckily, I discovered Honey, the free browser extension that helps you save money every time you shop online. Honey scans the internet for coupon codes and other discounts, and like magic, it applies it automatically at checkout. It knows about every coupon code for over 20,000 websites like Amazon, Newegg, AliExpress. And there's no extra steps, just shop online like you normally would and Honey will do what it does finding discounts for you. And believe me, when you see that money come off, it's a big relief. At this point, I've been using Honey for close to 2 years, and over those years, I've saved a lot of money on a lot of different things, specifically a lot on workout supplements. Like, that can come into a lot of money, and right here you got 20% off. Honey is for basically everyone because it works for practically anything you buy online, and it only takes 2 clicks to install. Look, there's really no reason not to use Honey. It's free to use and easy to install on your computer in just 2 clicks. So shop with confidence. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/wang. That's joinhoney.com/wang. And thanks again to Honey for sponsoring this video. If you were an avid reader of game magazines from the early 90s to the mid to late 2000s, as I suspect many of you are, you've definitely come across one of these ads. Every console you could possibly have at the time combined with a top-of-the-line home theater system and sometimes computers. And what's even better, this isn't just the usual sweepstakes where you mail it away and you have a 1 in a million random chance to get picked to win. No, this was skill-based. And being the high IQ gamer that you are, you're definitely gonna win this, right? It first appeared in 1991, presented by a company called Pandemonium, and it would return month after month for years with different names like Puzzle Me, or Bane Dramage, or Rattlebrain. You have the power. In this contest, you don't rely on the luck of the draw. You determine if you win or not. You win by outscoring others in a game of skill. Can you solve the puzzle below? Then you have what it takes. It looks simple, but it's only the start. Each of 5 more puzzles gets a little harder, but this time, it's all up to you. Stay into the end, and the gear is yours, with whatever options you want. Do you have what it takes? Then play to win. Video game contest. Play any 16-bit game in the world with this lineup. Neo Geo Gold, Nintendo Super Famicom, Sega Genesis and the TurboGrafx 16. Get all 4 or trade the ones you don't want for cash. Bonus options, adapters, games, accessories, cash and more. Media Rig Contest. The ultimate gaming environment. 40-inch monitor, 130-watt receiver with Dolby Pro Logic surround sound. Infinity speakers, subwoofer, CD player, graphic EQ, dual cassette, and hi-fi VCR. This rig will blow you away, literally. You'll not only see it, but feel it. Directions. Fill in the mystery word grid with the correct words going across to spell out the mystery word down the end. Hint, use the word clue. In the future, there will be 4 more puzzles at $2 each, and 1 tiebreaker at $1.50, which will arrive by mail. You will have 3 weeks to solve each puzzle. We don't how many will play, but typically 47% will have 30% to phase 2, 25% to phase 3, and 20% to phase 4. The tiebreaker determines the winner. If players are still tied, they will split the value of the prizes. Alright, let's do this. Wow, the mystery word. Blank games. Gee, I wonder what kind of games they might be talking about. I don't know. What a test of wits this was. Alright, so as you probably guessed, I did enter this contest once. And although the puzzles did get a little bit more difficult each round, they were still mostly really easy. Each round you would get similar word puzzles, but eventually a mechanic is introduced where the points have score values, and it's not so much a thing about finding the mystery word or things like that, but getting the highest score. When you get to the last round, there is a completely blank grid, and it sort of becomes like this game of anything goes Scrabble. I remember when I got to that last round, I wrote up like 10 different versions of the puzzle, and I thought I had gotten the highest possible score, but I guess not because I didn't win. That is, unless maybe the whole thing was a scam and it wasn't winnable, but nobody really knew for sure. It was a thread started on May 7th of 2004 on the cheap-ass gamer forums that would eventually lead us to the answer. The successful dropout. I don't know if this has ever been posted, but I've seen this contest in magazines forever, and have always wanted to try it out, so I signed up and completed the first set of puzzles. Now I'm waiting for the next set to be mailed to me. It goes like this. In some magazines, recently the June 04 issue of PSM on page 61, they have this contest advertised, where you pay as you play, a few bucks, filling out mystery word grids and puzzles to compete with other people who are filling out different versions of the same puzzle for prizes. You can win the ultimate gaming rig of over $20,000 in prizes. They have a computer contest, video game contest, and media rig contest. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Has anyone ever tried this? Is it a scam? Many of the other forum users expressed that they were surprised that this contest was even still going on, and many assumed that it was just a scam. But nobody could really answer for sure, and shortly after the thread fizzled out. The thread had been abandoned and forgotten about for over a year until October 2005, when it was resurrected by a user named Mr. McGee. Mr. McGee had gotten in touch with the man who ran the contest. I decided to be so bold as to email Rattlebrain and ask them whether this contest was legit or was it a scam. Amazingly enough, they replied. The following is the letter from the contest director. None of it has been manipulated. BTW, I posed under a different name just in case. Hi, Stephanie. I've been doing puzzle tournaments for 20 years. At that time, if I had been a scam, none of the magazines would let me advertise. I do what I say I will do, and if you find yourself not happy at the end of the contest, I'll send you a complete refund. This is why I have lasted so long. I hope you give us a shot. Rick Lund, Contest Director of Bane Dramage Inc. I also asked several other puzzling things about their contest. I'm waiting for their answers. I might just post them. After his thread was revived, the successful dropout returned to tell us the status of his entry. I forgot all about this thread. Anyways, I didn't win. Why? Because the puzzles that they send you are all time sensitive, and they sent the last set of puzzles to me later than the due date. Great scam, bastards. Sounds pretty sleazy, right? Well, as it turns out, I guess you should have checked the fine print. Mr. McGee, I was smart enough to get my hands on their official rules. If it came after the deadline, it is not their fault. It is the postage system's. I was worried that because of Hurricane Katrina, the mail system was clogged or destroyed or something like that. Not that I wasn't worried about the victims either. I donated a lot of money. It was just a thing that bothered me. It was like 4 weeks between the puzzles, so yeah. Anyway, their official rules explain a lot too. What caught my eye the most was the possibility of getting a full refund if my puzzle came past the deadline or if I'm not happy with the contest results. I might just post it. Also, I'm in the finals and just mailed it out. On the off chance I do win something, I'll take pics or something. From this point on, the thread would remain a lot more lively, with people coming throughout 2005 to compare their contest entries, theorized about whether or not the contest is a scam, and recall the episode of Doug that had a contest like this that turned out to be a scam. A few other people from the cheap-ass gamer forums managed to get in contact with Rick Lund, who would either delay their responses or give them stories about sore losers giving him problems. And it was on January of 2006 that Rick Lund sent out an email clarifying the sore losers problem. To all customers of Bane Dramage who have sent us email, Once again, we are extremely sorry about our slowness to respond to emails. We have had an ongoing problem which has rendered our email completely unusable. A couple of disgruntled contestants who were angry at losing the contest have embarked on a massive phony email solicitation campaign. They have used our email addresses to bury us in a sea of spam, which has made it impossible to have time to distinguish between customer mail and spam. We're talking about thousands of emails per day. This, of course, jams our inbox and prevents many emails from even getting to us. We humbly ask that you forgive us for this problem. We have now established a new email address for you to direct your questions. It is banedramagehelp@mac.com. If the questions you may have had are still relevant, please resubmit them there, and we will respond in a timely fashion. Slowly at first, and then more quickly as we catch up. If you had questions which hurt your participation in the contest when they went unanswered, let us know and we will send you a prompt refund of all entry fees if you so request. Once again, we apologize for this deplorable situation and we thank you for hanging in there. It's strange that an email spam problem was able to completely bring this operation to a halt, which makes you wonder, was this all just one guy running a contest out of his bedroom? But after the email problem was resolved, the contest went on as usual, but nobody from the cheap-ass gamer forums was able to secure the W. And once again, that's if the game was even winnable and no one seemed to know for sure. Well, the answer to whether or not the game was winnable, as well as the explanation for the constant name changes, came in a post by a user named Karcheroth in February of 2006. Hi everyone that entered the Bane Dramage contest. In the past, I had entered this contest when it was known as Pandemonium Inc. At that time, I didn't win, but when I entered the second time, I won all 3 finals. That's where the fight began. At that time, Rick, the contest owner, lived in Minnesota and proceeded to move to Oregon with no forwarding address to me. After 3 or 4 months, I tracked him down to where he is now and confronted him over the phone. He gave me a sob story that he had no money, was going through a divorce, and had no money to pay me. I didn't care. I wanted my winnings, and after more phone calls and heated arguments, he sent me a small portion of what I was owed, about 1/4 of the total. It took almost a year from when I won to when I received even that much. You could imagine my surprise when a month later I noticed the same contest advertised again, only this time under the name Puzzle Me. So to see what would happen, I entered again and I won 2 of the 3 finals, computer and home theater. Once again, months went by with no prize winnings. Again, I phoned him, and this time he told me he was declaring bankruptcy and wouldn't be able to pay me a dime. I thought it was a lie, but a month later I received court documents from Oregon asking me to put a claim in, but as he had no assets left, in all likelihood I would receive nothing, so I didn't bother. Well, imagine my surprise when about a year later the exact same contest was advertised yet again, but no Under the Rattle Brain. This time I couldn't enter because I had just turned 30, but I kept track of this company looking for problems through the Better Business Bureau, and sure enough, a complaint was lodged against this contest as well. I hope this time will be different for whoever wins, but from my own personal experience, I have my doubts it will. Also, my winning scores range from about 17,500 to a high of 18,418. Anything under 17,000, unless the high letters are X or J, will in all likelihood not win. I hope this helps wondering about this contest. And a month later, another former winner named Malth would come forward. I enjoyed reading all the posts on this page and decided to post my own story in case anyone else is trying to research this company. Another page you need to read is Game Set Watch, which shows many if not all of the advertisements for this contest. It is hard to find real information about the company that offers this contest. That is your first clue. I entered the contest about 10 years and countless incarnations of this company ago. I worked really hard on the final puzzle, which is difficult and variable enough that only one person is likely to get the high score. It requires you to use the Oxford English Dictionary and other dictionaries to find really obscure and small words, and fit them into a grid in such a way as to obtain the highest possible score. Long story short, I won. Imagine my pride at having beat all the thousands of people who entered the contest, and my anticipation of winning all this awesome stuff. Guess what? That's right, I got nothing. What I did get was a series of what I believe to be the official courtroom proceedings of the bankruptcy of what was Pandemonium. I cannot make a claim on what was due to me because the amount was too small. I went so far as to obtain a consultation from a lawyer who directed me toward the Better Business Bureau. I was in college and decided not to try to pursue legal action, because who has the time and money for that when what you're owed is relatively small, and you're trying to get it from a bankrupt company, and you're a broke college student? I still have all the paperwork from everything I did for the contest, all my countless words that I found, and the myriad grids I filled in trying to achieve the best score that I could. And let's not forget the documents of the bankruptcy proceedings. It all serves as a reminder of the hard work I did, which I am proud of, and the fact that there are people out there in this world like Rick Lund who are failed, worthless human beings who make a living preying on the dreams of innocent young people, stooping to the lowest depths and using the loopholes in the court system to continue to perpetuate a business scam, calling kids sore losers when they justifiably complain and criticize the operations of this puzzle contest. Just look at the number of times this business has changed names and addresses over the years, folks. Legitimate businesses change locations maybe once in 10 or 20 years, when they outgrow their location, want a bigger demographic, buy out another company, etc., but rarely do they change names frequently. Caveat emptor. Yes, I probably should have known better, but like the others on this page, I had seen the ad for a long time and was curious to see if it really was legit, and if so, whether I could actually do what it took to win. What I got was a lesson in the dark side. Do not enter this contest. Put your money and energy to work in other endeavors that are likely to pay off. As for Rick Lund, if I ever find him, I'm going to chop off his you-know-what and feed it to him, if somebody hasn't already beaten me to the punch. And then a little under a year later, another former winner named Abigoria would come forward. Hello everyone, it has been a long time since I entered Pandemonium and Puzzle Me contest. I have been a winner 3 times while under the name Pandemonium, and 3-time winner under Puzzle Me, so a total of 6 times I have won. As of this day though, I have only received enough money to pay just 1 out of the 6 times that I have won. I have called Rick Lund so many times and been so patient with him, and have always, when I talked to him on the phone, I was given a story of why he can't pay me, but always kept my hopes up that in the future he was going to be able to pay. Example, after he runs another contest he would have money to pay me then. So yeah, I kept my hopes up, and yeah, I got paid only $500 a month, and that $500 a month only lasted a few months because the company filed bankruptcy and started up again under the name Puzzle Me. I entered Puzzle Me contests and won 3, but it didn't matter because the same thing happened again. Although I got a little more this time than before, but still, I nearly won $50,000 in total between the 6 contests, and maybe received a total of $6,000. The figures are vague, as it's been so long ago and I can only base it on memory, although I do have all my records of my winnings. So to anyone that entered this contest, it's impossible to win if you don't know what you are doing, and if you do know what you are doing, it's still a slim chance on winning. And finally, if you do win, I wouldn't expect to actually receive what you won, based on my past experience with Pandemonium, Puzzle Me, and Rick Lund. I am in total shock to find out that he has yet another contest going again under another name. It is unbelievable how this can keep on going for all these years, but I guess it's people like me that won and just sit back and accept what he pays us and don't push it any further or take legal action. And that is why I am guessing he can still keep on running these contests. If anyone on this forum wins the recent contests, I like to know how it turns out with actually getting your prizes / money. Good luck to anyone doing these contests. So with all that in mind, here's what we know about these contests. They actually were winnable, and you actually had to get a really good score to actually win them. This meant that the company's staff, or maybe even Rick Lund himself, had to go through thousands of contest entries by hand. This went on for over 15 years, and it seems like just about every time when people did win, they wouldn't get anything that they won or just a small piece of it. It seems strange to me that someone would create such a complicated system just to scam people when there's so many less involved, less hands-on ways to deprive people of their money. I mean, isn't the whole point of scamming people to get a lot of money for little to no work? So I have an alternative hypothesis. What if Rick Lund actually did set out to create a legitimate contest business, but at the end of the day, he just didn't have what it takes to run a business like this? When I look into the story of this contest, it reminds me of how I used to read these books on entrepreneurship and, getting rich and things like that. And a lot of times, you would come across stories of people who started their empires with very simple ads in magazines and newspapers and things like that. But in the case of a business like this, where he's just advertising a very appealing thing in a video game magazine, he goes from just being some dude working out of his bedroom to all of a sudden he has thousands of pieces of mail to go through, probably by himself. And we could see the evidence for that by the fact that he's sitting there talking to people on the phone himself and responding to emails and dealing with email spam by himself when an abler businessman would be delegating these menial tasks to employees. So he's clearly in way over his head, but at the same time, he's got envelopes full of money coming to him month after month after month, year after year. So he throws his hands up in the air and says, "Fuck it," and keeps the thing running until the wheels fall off. In practice, this leaves us something that's basically indistinguishable from a scam, but I think it's important to know what was going on in Rick Lund's head while running this thing to really understand the story of the ultimate gaming rig. I'll put a poll up and see what you think. And I would also like to know if there's anyone watching this who wasn't in that thread that won or actually successfully got their refund. Let me know in the comment section. Anyway, thank you for watching, and if you like this video, you'll probably also like my video about the guy who scammed people by pretending to be Mike Portnoy. I'm out of here.